The worst thing you can do for your Etsy business is mislead your customers with pricing, like this, where you trick your customers with a misleading price. Like, who wants an ornament without a design? Anyone? Or like this, who wants a blank white tumbler? If you've sold on Etsy for a bit, you've seen sellers doing this. You may even be doing it yourself, but I'm here to tell you that it's killing your profits. I've worked with hundreds of Etsy sellers, helping them to scale their Etsy shops, and have had the unique privilege to see the behind the scenes, to see all the numbers, to see the Etsy ads metrics, and to know what those shops' profits are. And almost every single time someone uses a misleading pricing strategy, their profits are not good. To the outsider, their shop looks like it's making lots of sales, but under the hood, they're not making any profit. And in this video, we're showing you why and what you can do instead to make lots of sales and make lots of profit.
We're Lauren and Connor, and we've done over $3 million in sales on Etsy. In fact, we did over $1 million just last year alone. Here's our real 1099 tax form from Etsy to prove it. And we only share that to give you proof, not to boast or brag in any way, but simply to say we think you should listen to us about Etsy, and here's why.
This video is broken into 3 parts. In part 1, we'll talk about the pricing problem and why so many Etsy sellers try to use these misleading pricing tactics. Then in part 2, we'll show you why these strategies simply don't work. And finally, in part 3, we'll talk about what you can do instead to make more sales and more profit on Etsy.
So, why do so many Etsy sellers use misleading pricing tactics? There are many forms of misleading pricing on Etsy. Sometimes people add something like a can cooler to their listing when they really show a banner on their listing thumbnail. The customer isn't even thinking about a can cooler, and the listing doesn't even have any photos or details about a can cooler. Or maybe they add a baby size to a t-shirt listing when no one is ever going to order the design on a baby size. It's super misleading, and as a customer, it's annoying and honestly a turn off. So why do Etsy sellers do this? They do this because of the pricing problem that exists on Etsy. Let me explain. We sell on a marketplace where customers come ready to buy. They might have an idea of what they're looking for and type something into the search bar. Etsy shows them a bunch of options based on their past behavior. Basically, what Etsy thinks that customer is most likely to buy. Because when our listings sell, Etsy makes money. They get a small percentage of each sale. The problem is that shoppers see listings from all different shops, and due to the competition, they naturally compare prices. Etsy sellers know this, and so they all race to the bottom to have the lowest priced item, or at least what looks like the lowest item, because in search, Etsy displays the price of the lowest price variation for that listing. So they use these misleading strategies to look more competitive. And honestly, it works until it doesn't. It works in the sense that it gets lots of clicks and even leads to lots of sales, because getting the click is the first step to getting a sale. And from a distance, it often looks like these listings are crushing it until you see their real numbers under the hood. Connor will talk more about that in part 2, but let's talk more about this pricing problem. The problem is that many print-on-demand products have become commoditized, meaning that they've lost their unique identity. When all the listings and designs basically look the same to the customer, all that's left is for them to compare on the price. We don't want to play this game. That game is a race to the bottom, where everyone undercuts each other's prices until everyone operates at barely any profit, or just enough to keep you in the game with enough hope to keep going. We want to play a different game, and to do this, we need to know how to add value and to show the customer that our product is more valuable, so they care less about price within reason. And they do this because your product is unique. It can't be compared to the listings next to it. We'll talk about how to add value to your listings without using misleading pricing in part 3. But first, we need to talk more about why misleading pricing doesn't work.
Lauren's right. Those misleading pricing strategies, they do work. They definitely lead to more clicks or a higher click rate and even more sales, because once you get the click, you at least have the chance to make a sale. And although some people are turned off by the jump in price, a small percentage still convert to a sale. The problem is that not enough of them do. And if you're running Etsy ads or have tried running them in the past, you get killed on Etsy ads. All your money goes to the ads. And at the end of the month, you're left with very little profit. This is because Etsy ads are pay per click, or or PPC, meaning you pay each time a potential customer clicks on the advertised listing. Even if they don't buy, you still pay. So all those people who bounce from your listing, you are paying for their clicks and not making sales. The problem gets worse though. Remember how we said Etsy makes money when we make sales? Listings with misleading pricing strategies often make lots of sales because they get a heck of a lot of clicks. So even if they convert a small percentage of those clicks, it's still a lot of sales. And so Etsy wants to keep showing that listing for two reasons. First, because they make money when the item sells, but they make money too on all the ad spend. And many Etsy sellers don't even understand their numbers. So they don't even know if their ad is operating profitably or not. And to make matters worse, Etsy will reward the listings with a bestseller badge, which honestly is just an arbitrary pat on the back from Etsy. It doesn't lead to more sales or increased visibility for the listing, but so many sellers refuse to turn off an advertised listing because it has the bestseller badge and they're afraid to lose it. But when you look at the numbers, it's almost always, literally always not good. We've worked with hundreds of sellers and we get the privilege of seeing the back end stats of those sellers' shops. We help them analyze their data and their Etsy ads. And when misleading pricing strategies are used, the story is never good. And all the revenue from the sales are going straight to the ads, leaving them with very little or no profit until we fix that pricing problem. And that's what we'll talk about in part 3. So how do we add value? How do we choose to play a different game so that we don't have to compete on price? And how do we communicate that value to our customers so that they perceive our product as valuable? To understand value, we like to reference Alex Hormozi's value equation. If you're not familiar, it looks something like this. It's a simple equation with 4 variables. As you increase the variables in the top half of the equation, perceived value increases. As you decrease the variables in the bottom half, the perceived value also increases. The first variable is dream outcome. This one is key, and honestly what many struggling Etsy sellers miss. Customers are already coming to Etsy ready to buy, and we just need to provide them exactly what they're looking for. But it can't just be the same as what's already out there. We need to know this customer better than anyone and be able to create something new and unique that they'll love. It sounds simple, and it is. It just takes a heck of a lot of research to get to that level of understanding of the customer. And it's not just the design. It includes the presentation of the product through listing photos that are styled and themed to align with that specific customer and their dream outcome. The next variable is perceived likelihood of achievement. Think of this like, how likely does the customer think they'll get that dream outcome? Like if they order the shirt that you're selling, will it look exactly like it does in the photos? Will it look good on them? And how confident are they in that? We can demonstrate the value by highlighting past reviews and by showing the product being used how they might use it. If it's a shirt, showing a person who looks like them wearing the shirt or sending them a mock-up of what the shirt would look like with their specific personalization on it can give them that confidence. The first variable on the bottom is time delay. This one is straightforward, meaning how quickly can they get the item, in this case the shirt. If they could push a button and the shirt was instantly in their hands, that would be pretty valuable. But as print-on-demand sellers, we often can't control the time delay as shipping and production are just out of our control. But we can control the speed of other parts of the process, like how quickly a mockup is sent if you choose to send a mockup for that specific type of product or listing. Look for opportunities to add value through the time delay variable. The final variable is effort and sacrifice, and this is the variable most people play with, and they simply just lower the price to effectively lower the sacrifice from the buyer or lower how much they need to pay. But there are other ways to decrease the effort and sacrifice variable. One way is to offer a guarantee, meaning if they do sacrifice their money, they're guaranteed to get what they want. As in, you'll send a replacement or refund their order if anything's wrong with their order, or they just don't love the product. By including a guarantee, you lower their perceived risk and their perceived sacrifice, and therefore they perceive the product as more valuable. You can also affect effort and sacrifice through pricing structure, but not just by lowering your price. For example, someone will perceive something as more valuable if it has free shipping because they don't have to pay for the shipping, even though the total cost is about the same whether they were charged shipping or not. As we create our products and listings, we always reference that value equation and look for ways to make our listings stand out from our competition so that they are perceived as more valuable. It's how we've consistently priced our products $2 to $5 more expensive than our competition and consistently made more sales and way more profit.
We hope that this video has changed the way you think about pricing strategies and gives you permission to ditch those misleading pricing tactics so that you can keep making more sales and make more profit. We're going to link a couple videos on the screen here. The first video is for new Etsy sellers. If you have a new shop or you're just struggling to find any real success, go watch the first video. We share our full Etsy business plan. and show you exactly what you need to do to get your first $1,000 month on Etsy, which starts with learning your customer better than anyone so that you can provide them with valuable products so you don't need to play the pricing game.
The second video is for sellers who have had some success, who have done $1,000 or more in sales in a single month on Etsy, but who feel stuck or who are struggling to scale to that next level. That second video will show you exactly how to scale your shop to consistent $10,000 to $30,000 plus months, including scaling your Etsy ads profitably. And it's likely the opposite of what you're doing right now. Both videos will be linked below in the description too. Thanks for watching.